In the heart of the vast Australian outback lie some of the largest cattle ranches on Earth. Picture a remote area, far from civilization, where long, dusty roads lead to properties as large as small towns. A remarkable example is the Supple Downs Station, located in the Northern Territory. To get an idea of its scale and isolation, it takes about 13 hours of driving to reach the nearest town. This immense size poses a major challenge for those who manage these ranches: how to track, gather, and handle huge herds in such vast and difficult areas. Traditional techniques like herding on horseback or on foot become almost impossible when we're talking about thousands of acres. But that's where technological innovation steps in to transform the daily routine of Australian ranchers. To manage this massive industry, which moves about $23 billion a year, ranchers have been adopting modern technologies that combine efficiency with animal welfare. One of the most effective solutions is the use of helicopters, a tool that has revolutionized Australian cattle farming. Before taking off, specialized pilots, in partnership with ground crews, carefully analyze the terrain and set clear strategies to calmly group the cattle. During the flight, the pilots have a privileged view, quickly locating the animals scattered across the open land. Constant radio communication ensures precise movements, allowing for a coordinated and agile approach. Using controlled noise and the airflow generated by the rotors, the helicopters can gently guide the herd to the desired location without causing panic or stress. At the same time, the ground team, whether on horseback or riding motorcycles, provides crucial support, blocking escape routes and directing the animals to the handling area. On huge ranches, such as a typical station spanning more than 400,000 acres, the process can require up to 6 helicopters working simultaneously. This ensures that thousands of animals are gathered quickly, safely, and efficiently. After the helicopters land, the final phase begins. Ground teams move in to carry out essential tasks like tagging and identifying the herd. This entire process is done carefully to preserve animal welfare and maintain sustainable productivity on the ranch. Thanks to these innovative techniques, Australian ranchers are able to overcome impressive geographical challenges, ensuring not only a strong and profitable industry, but also a modern and humane way of working with nature. In the Australian countryside, the day-to-day operations on cattle farms have been undergoing a quiet but remarkable transformation. If in the past manual labor dominated every step, today automated systems guarantee efficiency and precision. But how exactly are these technologies changing life on the ranch? Imagine a sprawling farm with thousands of heads of cattle to feed. Here, automated feeding systems follow predefined routes, delivering fresh feed directly to the herd. There's no need for someone to closely supervise this process. Farmers can control everything through a simple app on their phone, making sure no animal goes unfed. The scale of this work is impressive. Each year, Australian ranches consume around 13 million tons of feed. Just in 2023, beef production rose by 11.3%, reaching 186,000 pounds. But it's not just the large properties that benefit from these technologies. On smaller farms, smart systems allow for personalized feeding, adjusted to each animal's specific needs through electronic ID tags. The machine automatically dispenses exactly the right amount of feed, ensuring health and cost savings. But feeding the cattle is only half the daily task. After the meal, there's another big challenge, dealing with the waste produced by the animals. On properties like Mort and Company's large feedlot in Grail, about 200 million pounds of manure are produced each year. Traditional methods simply can't keep up with this massive volume. To tackle this issue, the ranches began using automatic cleaning systems. A blade attached to a chain runs along the feedlot floor at regular intervals, usually every 15 or 30 minutes, pushing all the manure into a collection pit. This keeps the animal's environment constantly clean, avoiding health problems and preserving the herd's quality of life. But what happens to all this collected material? Since 2023, Australia has found a new use for this waste. Manure has become a valuable raw material for producing organic fertilizers. What used to be an environmental problem has turned into an important resource for agriculture, especially in grain production. These technological innovations are profoundly changing the routine of Australian ranches. What was once an exhausting task can now be done with efficiency, safety, and sustainability. And the future promises even more progress. continuing to reshape how we think about work in the countryside. In Australia, the countryside never stops evolving, and some of the most interesting changes happen where few would expect. Sheep and goats, unlike cattle, present very different challenges when it comes to waste management. Their small, dry droppings easily spread across the fields and therefore require different solutions from those used for cattle. With the world's third-largest sheep population, over 74 million animals, and leading global goat exports, Australian farmers have learned to use this situation to their advantage. On the vast grazing lands, these little pellets become nature's allies, nourishing the soil and strengthening the vegetation. To speed up this natural process even more, some producers go a step further, introducing dung beetles into the pastures. And the future looks even more intriguing. Scientists have already started testing small robots designed to help these natural beetles. But technological innovation doesn't stop there. Besides beef ranches, the dairy industry is a key economic driver in Australia, especially in southeastern areas like Victoria, New South Wales, and Tasmania. This is where roughly 30,000 workers are directly involved in the sector. What used to be intense, repetitive manual labor now takes on a modern edge with the arrival of robotic milking. Two main systems have revolutionized the industry, so-called multi-box setups, where several machines milk at the same time, and innovative automatic rotary systems known as rams. And it's not just cows that benefit from this advanced technology. Goat farms have also adopted automated systems, boosting productivity and improving the quality of the milk produced. Here's how it works. The animal approaches voluntarily, drawn in by special feed offered by the system. Each animal has an electronic tag, usually attached to an anklet or collar, that automatically provides all the necessary details, from health status to daily output. Once in the milking area, automatic gates keep the animal still, while laser sensors precisely locate the teats. Before milking starts, the system thoroughly cleans the udder to ensure the milk's quality. The teat cups are attached automatically and begin a gentle suction process that's continuously adjusted to maximize comfort and efficiency. The entire procedure lasts about 5 to 10 minutes per animal. Once milking is done, the teat cups detach on their own and the animal calmly moves on. And the milk? It goes straight to specialized processing plants, where it's turned into products like cheese and butter, generating an impressive revenue of about $3.3 billion between 2022 and 2023. This combination of technology, animal welfare, and economic sustainability is transforming Australian farms every day. And it looks like this is just the beginning. Imagine having thousands of animals under your care, spread out over vast areas, where keeping track of each one seems impossible. That's exactly the scenario Australian farmers were up against until recently. But since 2017, everything started changing drastically, with the mandatory electronic identification for sheep and goats, something that had already been in place for cattle since 2004. This technology uses small electronic tags usually placed on the animal's ears. All it takes is to hold a special reader near these tags, and within seconds, complete information about each animal appears on a mobile device screen. As a result, health, feeding, and history are monitored with unprecedented precision. Thanks to these advances, regions like New South Wales have seen significant growth in goat farming. From 2.4 million in 2018, the number jumped to nearly 7 million in 2021, leading to over 11,000 tons of goat meat produced in 2022, more than 90% of which was exported, mainly to China. And the same technological progress is seen in feeding. Currently, more than two-thirds of breeders use automatic systems to ensure the herd is always well fed. But there's a bigger challenge farmers deal with every day: predators. In the Australian countryside, an apparent tranquility hides constant threats. Foxes, wild dogs, birds, and even wild pigs account for over 40% of goat and sheep deaths on farms. To combat these attacks, farmers have always relied on traditional methods like hunting and aerial culling by licensed pilots. However, the future seems to lie in something much more high-tech. Drones equipped with high-definition cameras can monitor animals in real time, even in the most remote regions. These small aerial vehicles not only help gather the herd, but also quickly spot areas where predators might be lurking. Some drones go further, emitting barking sounds, activating LED lights, or even spraying water to chase off any threat. This technology is becoming increasingly common, making farmers' lives safer and more efficient. In this way, technology and nature come together in the Australian countryside, ensuring a future where animals and farmers coexist with fewer risks and higher productivity. When we think about sheep farming, countries like Australia and New Zealand usually come to mind. But did you know that the United States has significant and dynamic production, mainly focused on meat? There are over 100,000 farms in the U.S. dedicated exclusively to raising sheep, totaling more than 5 million animals. Most are located in states like Texas, California, and Colorado. Interestingly, unlike in other countries where wool is the main focus, in the United States nearly 80% of sheep are raised for meat, while only about 17% have their wool used. Every year, around 1.7 million lambs are born on these American farms. Texas and California alone account for 37% of those births. Each ewe typically has 2 to 3 lambs that weigh between 3 and 4.5 pounds at birth, staying with their mother for about 9 weeks until they're weaned. One of these farms, located in California, provides a clear example of the scale of this production. There, with a flock of about 700 animals, around 15,500 lambs are born each year. After 2 months, these animals are moved to pastures on other properties, getting ready for the next stages of farming. But there's a little-known aspect of this process. When they're about 2 weeks old, lambs undergo a simple yet controversial procedure: tail docking. Workers do this to prevent parasite infestations, make hygiene easier, and improve future breeding. Although this procedure is standard on large farms, some smaller producers question its necessity and choose not to do it. In California alone, where there are about 9,300 farms with over 500,000 sheep, annual meat production reaches 13.6 million pounds, showing the strength of this industry in the United States. Altogether, over 22,000 sheep were slaughtered in 2021 in that state, highlighting the economic importance of this type of farming. Sheep farming in America is a fascinating world, full of little-known quirks and challenges, and the debate over practices like tail docking shows that even in traditional processes, there's always room for reflection and change. In the United States, raising sheep is much more than just looking after animals. It's a complex cycle that involves different stages, regions, and specific practices in each part of the country. Let's start with Idaho. There, roughly 4,000 farms raise about 248,000 sheep, almost 5% of the entire national flock. A common practice is tail docking lambs in their first few weeks of life to prevent disease and make the animals easier to manage. But Idaho isn't alone in this. If we look at Colorado, for instance, we find a similar situation, but with its own unique characteristics. With over 6,000 farms and around 368,000 sheep, this state stands out especially for raising the Suffolk breed, known for its meat production. On just one of these farms, about 1,300 lambs are born each year. These animals grow quickly, reaching sexual maturity between 6 and 8 months and weighing around 66 to 83 pounds. The secret lies in their diet: corn, hay, and grains given daily to the adult animals, which eat about 3% of their body weight each day. But even after tail docking, workers need to take extra precautions, such as regularly trimming the thickest wool around adult sheep's rear ends to keep away flies and parasites. In Texas, the state with the largest number of sheep in the U.S., over 747,000, the situation is different. Here it's common to see huge flocks being moved from one pasture to another, always under the watchful eye of trained herding dogs that protect them, especially against coyotes. Every year, more than 306,000 sheep are slaughtered in Texas alone, producing about 19 million pounds of meat. On all these farms, there's one essential ritual that ensures the animals' well-being: bathing adult sheep every 2 weeks to eliminate lice and other parasites. But inevitably, the final stage comes. At 8 or 10 months old, the lambs are sent to the slaughterhouse, where they're stunned with an electric current before being killed. Across the country, over 2 million sheep go through this process each year, producing about 137 million pounds of meat consumed by Americans, an average of 5 pounds per person per year. Interestingly, even with such significant production, the United States still imports large amounts of lamb, especially from Australia and New Zealand. This fact makes us think about the complexity of the market and dietary habits that directly affect life on American farms. If you enjoyed following this dive into the fascinating reality of American farms, don't forget to like the video and leave your comment below. Let us know what you thought and which part caught your attention the most. Oh, and of course, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss more content like this. See you next time.